Hey, we're back again, the Coon Prairie Ramblers. Once again with here I go. It's an
There you
old
go
habit.
again.
I can't break the habit.
Well, he's going to be with us no matter what.
Yeah.
Always, always.
Yeah.
You were telling us about first time you came to the Brew Crew?
First time I met Casey, and the first time I met the group Brew Crew,
Uh-huh.
I heard about it. I think you posted something on Facebook or something, or somebody said something.
Yeah.
And so I ventured down here one Wednesday morning, and I had a beard down. I was doing Santa Claus at the time.
I remember.
Had a beard down to my sternum.
Sternum. There's a word.
Yeah. Now, I learned that in college anatomy class.
Oh boy, along with other stuff, I'm sure.
Okay, I came into the last chapter of Coffee Shop, and there was three people down. Casey was sitting at the very end of the table, where he sat for a long period of time until the Queen
So the Queen showed up.
Queen Mary, and next to Casey was Luke, and next to Luke was Todd Backer. And the first thing I ever remember hearing Casey say was, he whispered to you, and I could hear it. He said, "Who's that guy?"
Who's that guy? Oh boy, and you heard it. You got good ears and a good memory.
Yeah. And then next to you was Todd Backer, and Todd immediately began telling me the history of the Brew Crew.
There you
Of
go.
course, it didn't have a very long history.
I was going to say, but I'm sure Todd could stretch it out.
Maybe it was a year or almost a year. I don't know.
I was looking through the old photographs last night. I've taken the Brew Crew over the years since it started in October of 2011. I've taken pictures ever since. So I've been looking through a million pictures the last 2 nights, looking for pictures of KC. But I did run across the one of you. What we do at the Brew Crew, if you come in as a new person, you get to hold up a little sign that says, "The Brew Crew wants you."
Mm-hmm.
And I did run across your picture, and you're holding the Brew Crew sign. So I'll look that up and I'll send that to you, and that'll give us the exact date when this happened.
Okay.
And I remember when the picture finally appeared on our Facebook page, probably a month or two later. I said something about a Santa Claus visiting us, is what I said.
Yeah.
You had the really long beard then.
Well, I wonder, since there were three of you, that was the first, and you were the original three, and I came. Was I the fourth, or were there other people before me?
But there were others, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'll look through the pictures that I took that day of the whole group, and we can see how many were there. Plus,
Yeah.
I made a mental note or a written note how many people came. So
Yeah.
the Brew Crew got its origin, like I said, in October of 2011. What started it was Casey and I being Facebook friends. We'd be chatting on the side, the little private message box, just shooting the bull or whatever. And one of us said, and I'm giving him the credit. I don't know that I said it, or it probably was him. Says, this would be more fun if we did it in person. And I think I said, that sounds like a good idea. Where you want to go? You want to go to McDonald's, Burger King, or whatever? And he said, let's have a cup of coffee. I said, well, we got a coffee shop here in town, so let's do that. So we put something about it on Facebook. We didn't have the Facebook page for the Brew Crew at the time.
Yeah.
Just put it out there on my page, which is probably where you saw it eventually. And I said, anybody wants to get together for coffee, locals, we're going to get together and shoot the bull. We didn't have a name for the Brew Crew yet, and I believe he's the one that came up with that.
Huh.
Or maybe Todd. Todd likes brews. He likes some other kind of brews.
Yeah.
He's always talking about. He might have been the one that named that, but I think maybe KC named our... Because we did it for so many years, and people were saying, like, this is great fun, all these people coming for this party, but it'd be more fun if we did it more than once a week. So we started adding Friday on there, and then Casey was probably the one that came up with, let's call that one Deja Brew. And so we've been meeting on Fridays ever since as well.
And then, of course, Brew Crew is not complete until you have you go for the Chew Crew.
That's right. You're right. We came up with another one, the Chew Crew, because eventually we started going for lunch. Some of us. So the Brew Crew gave birth to the Deja Brew and also the Brew Crew. And when we used to have Halloween parties, we called it the Boo Crew. We do those about once a year too.
And a Christmas party.
And Christmas parties. I mean, it's led to a lot of things. The Brew Crew has. It's brought a lot of people together who were old friends to reconnect, but it's brought in a lot of people who didn't know a lot of other people. And they've made really good friends. It's basically become a family. But Casey's kind of always been the centerpiece of it. I know, and Queen Mary as well. I mean, those are the two main ones. But KC with his.
Did she come in toward the beginning?
Yeah, she was here towards the beginning. Sure was.
Did she come because she heard that the Brew Crew was meeting, or she just
I think she was friends with KC before she was friends with me.
Yeah.
And she may have seen something about it on his page.
Oh. Yeah. And then I didn't know KC all that at that time. Although I noticed that there was this KC guy would be, making comments. You'd put something on Facebook and this KC guy was making comments.
He liked to add his comments to it, which is a great thing.
Yeah. I think, that guy knew me.
Well,
I don't remember how we ever, other than that's where I met him. I guess when I met him at the Brew Crew, that's when we became friends,
Well, he's kind of one of the people, when you get to know him, it's like, man, I've known this guy all my life.
Yeah.
You hadn't, but you had. I mean, I didn't know him as a child or whatever, because live in different places, and him as well. I mean, we were both living in Opelika in the late 50s, and didn't know each other. Of course, I was real little, and he was quite a bit older than me.
I'm sure I heard that.
But we didn't know that or whatever. But, eventually we met. I mean,
was that because of the military connection?
Yes. His father was in the Air Force, I believe.
No, he was Marines.
Marine, that's right. He was a Marine. My father was in the Coast Guard, so we were both down at the same time, which is kind of crazy. But I met him for real later on in Nocatee. He and his family and my family attended Nocatee Baptist Church. That's where I got to know him. And by then, he was already working with the Sheriff's Department and eventually the city police, and he became our city marshal for a number of years. And I've always thought it was cool that we're only one of a couple of other cities throughout Florida that still has a city marshal.
Yeah.
I mean, they're technically the chief of police, but also the title is the marshal.
Yeah. And the chief of police is appointed, whereas a marshal is elected.
Right.
Or I believe that's
right. Yeah, he ran for office numerous times and defeated people and stayed in the good time in office. But I always thought it was neat because Arcadia kind of being like an old-fashioned country western, not backwoods or whatever, rural town, kind of like Dodge City. You need a marshal, keep the place, keep all the bad people run out of town. And so he was the marshal, and I always liked that.
There was one question I always meant to ask him, and I always forgot it whenever we'd make our trip, from his house to the radio station, is if you were a city marshal, were you a U.S. marshal? Well, I think the answer is no.
Probably so. I think a U.S. marshal probably has a larger jurisdiction.
I mean, were you like Matt Dillon?
It was his town.
He was a marshal.
Get out of Dodge.
Yeah.
Well, back in the day, I'm talking about just Arcadia, but everywhere they got away with dispensing justice on the spot.
Yeah.
Whack them a couple of times with a blackjack and said, "Don't let me catch you doing that again, boy."
Yeah.
And that often was that we'd have to go through going to jail and paperwork and a hearing and all that and lawsuits and stuff.
Yeah.
But the good old days.
Over the years, I heard a lot of his police stories.
We had great ones.
Yeah.
Between him and Jeff Griffiths.
Oh, yeah.
I could sit there with my mouth hanging open with him telling stories. And I always enjoyed that. But my family was close to his family. They were good, down-to-earth people. I loved his father, Ralph, and his mother, Miss Rosalie, and then his sisters, and just all the families. We all worked together down there really good. And I get him. He's going to be part of our program, I think. If you listen close, he might just pop up somewhere before this hour is out. So y'all just kind of stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
Goodness. Well, we're down to about a minute. We can talk for a little bit longer, then we're going to sign off and move on to the third segment. But it's hard doing it with just two people, and especially right after losing KC. That's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to keep it upbeat and fun, or I'll be breaking down crying on the air.
Yeah.
Right? Y'all be listening to that. Y'all don't want that. But
I think it was yesterday or day before, just after his passing, I posted a Coon Prairie Rambler YouTube segment,
right.
But I posted one that had his picture on the thumb.
Right.
And as I was listening to it, I realized you weren't in it. You must have been on vacation or something, because it was just he and I talking back and forth.
I was AWOL.
Yeah, you must have been camping or cruising. Or
ain't no telling. But speaking of cruising, we got a cruise on out of here, but we'll be back in a short with segment 3. Y'all sit tight.